Hello and welcome to the SlapDuck podcast. I'm your host, Sally Iqbal, with no AKA this week. I'm joined from the Red Room.
With George Gessie. No AKA this week, even though I'm bad at it anyway.
And from the White Room.
Luca, AKA, no, I'm sad that no one has an AKA this week.
Oh, he actually used an AKA.
Oh my god, this is weird.
That's how mad a week this has been, guys.
Yeah.
I like that I used the colors of your rooms, knowing this isn't a visual medium.
Yeah.
So
just a bit of color commentary.
Yeah. So I would like to preface this episode by saying, one, it is recorded on Saturday the 30th of May because we're talking about current events. Also, obviously, what we're talking about, information may come out soon before this episode comes out. And also, it's not going to be your usual lighthearted, kind of jokey type episode. We're going to be talking about something heavy, which we kind of do every couple months.
Yeah.
We just keep ourselves grounded every now and then. It's like let's stop with the jokes.
Yeah.
So any new listeners, if you're like, whoa, I don't know if that's what I want to get into at the moment, then completely
listen
get
to
it.
last week's one. That's more us. Like,
Yeah.
just doing stupid shit.
But yeah, and also I might bring up some charities and stuff, which we'll put in the description and podcast notes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
But
first,
yes,
you can find us on Spotify,
oh, yes.
on
Sorry
iTunes, any way we can find good podcasts and all that sort of jazz, and on Radio Haver at 6 p.m. GMT on a Tuesday.
Yes.
It'd be interesting for those listeners specifically that normally tune in for a good bit of fun on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
This week, you're like, sorry guys,
That's okay.
We'll be back to normal next week.
But yeah, okay. So America's on fire.
America is on fire.
Yeah.
It's the best way to put it, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're talking about I don't know. The core of the events are the saying it as it is, the murder of George Floyd. But obviously, it's about so much more than that. Not to take away from the whole situation, but it's like something my teachers used to say about in history. About World War I, it was just a powder keg ready to explode, and just someone struck a match.
Yeah, it's the catalyst, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot of being built into like the kind of stuff that's going on for a long time, and this has been that spark. And it's the boiling point. And I think with all that's kind of led up to this, plus the world's current situation, tempers have been very high, and this is just kind of being that catalyst. And I think quite rightfully this needed to happen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like from the public standpoint and like the upcry, because this has been going on for way too long.
Yeah.
Actually, we can't be darting around the question. Did one of you guys want to kind of give a brief overview before we kind of really go into it?
I'm happy to
go for
do
it.
So,
Sully, you take it away, bro. Go for it.
Wait, so you want me to just sort of explain the situation?
Yeah, just like a brief.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't remember the day. I think it was over the Memorial weekend, and bank holiday weekend here for us. A man was, George Floyd was buying something, it seems, in a store, and I'm not sure. I've heard different things, but he paid for something. It was either with a $20 bill or a check. There was different stories when it first happened, and they thought the person he was buying something from thought it was a forgery. So they phoned the police, which kind of, I don't know, in the UK, it's just you just take it and you go to the bank and swap it. But I don't know about the US. I guess it is illegal, but also just to say, George Floyd, it's been proven he was paying with legitimate money.
Even okay. Sorry, continue.
So police officers came. They arrested him from footage. He didn't resist arrest at all. He seemed totally cooperative. And then video, the Minneapolis police said a man's died in our custody. And then a few days later, this video came out of George Floyd on the floor with, and I don't know the officer's name. I know it begins with a D, Derek or something. With his, George Floyd was face down on the floor with this officer's knee digging into the back of his neck, like for, I think it was about 9 minutes. And this was the initial footage. There were people telling him to get off him. A firefighter came and was telling him he can't breathe. This is going to get sort of graphic, so please, if you're with the faint of heart, it's okay if you stop listening. He starts calling out for his mum, saying he can't breathe. The other officer there is telling people to go away. He's fine. He's able to talk, which is bullshit. And then the officer he became unresponsive after about 5 minutes, and the officer only took his knee off the back of his neck once the ambulance with a stretcher arrived. And also footage came out later from the reverse angle that there were, I think, 2 other officers pinning him down. Like, I don't know how they were holding him down. It's unclear. Either they were actually also kneeling on his back and legs or just holding him down. And it was announced he died at about 9 p.m. that day. The coroner's report came out yesterday, but that's a completely other issue as well, which I guess we can dive into later.
Yeah.
Sure.
And obviously this has blown up. The video blew up on social media, and it comes literally days after the situation with the man in the Rambles in New York, where a woman said he was threatening her when he clearly was just like, put your dog back on the leash. There were protected animals here. Your dog has to be on its leash. And weeks after the Aubrey Ahmed situation, where he was jogging and murdered by 2 men who I think there's some evidence they're white supremacists. At least one of them might be. Don't quote me on that. So it's just like this stuff kept on happening, and it's resulted in riots, a massive riot in Minneapolis, and has now spread. I know there were riots in Atlanta last night. There were riots in Chicago. I think there's riots in Chicago going on. I just saw a headline, and I think there was some stuff in Texas.
Also, I think the White House was shut down as well. Because there were protesters outside the White House, and I think there was some in LA, some riots in LA.
Yes, yeah. And also, I think the Capitol building in Ohio was like literally stormed. The Capitol building is kind of like a city hall, I think, / treasury. And I think there's layers here. I mean, there's
definitely layers.
There's different things we can talk about. Race relations, the riots themselves. Obviously, I don't know. But
and that's been the slap.
No. Yeah.
No.
It just
it's craziness, isn't it? It's madness. Like
it's like rapidly escalated, because I mean I remember coming online and seeing what was going on. I want to say yesterday, and kind of reading through it all online. It's insane that this kind of stuff is still happening, and by that I mean police officers just killing unarmed black people. What the hell is going on?
Yeah,
but from like all the accounts, he was like, all right. I worked worked as a cashier on the high street for like a year after university to get some money as I was freelancing. I had a good few people come in and try to pay with notes that we kind of checked and they were wrong. They were like fake notes. Not once did we call the police, kind of marked them off, told them these are counterfeit notes, you can't use them, go to the bank and kind of sort this out, essentially. Like if you got them out of the wall, go back to that bank, let them know that these are in circulation. Not once did we call the police and anything like this happened. And I don't really know why this happened. Like, why did it escalate to such a ridiculous thing that you need to call the police? And then from the police side of things, why the hell would you, why would you take such violent action against someone who was just trying to pay for something at a store?
Yeah. It's because George Floyd is black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no other.
There's no other explanation for it. And that's the saddest part. Yeah. Is that he was, he just, it's really upsetting. Like, it really like winds me up, the whole thing. Because, since then you've seen, like, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I assume you have, but like video came out of his mother and his brother and stuff talking about how horrible this situation was and all this sort of stuff. Because, it's someone's brother and it's someone's son.
Yeah.
Like, why would you put your knee on someone's neck for 9 minutes?
Yeah.
For somebody who had just, tried to pay with something and it was like, oh, actually, no, I think this is forged. And like, oh, damn, okay.
Sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
I didn't know I had a
It's not like
note.
there was no reports that he kicked off.
Yeah.
And tried to hurt anyone. There's no reports that he was a dick about anything. Nothing like that from what I've heard. Why then is he, restrained so aggressively and, straight up murdered in front of everyone? And like all these officers, like, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Why was that their go-to? Why was that the go-to? Is like, this guy's got like, alleged forged money. Oh, all right, fuck you. We're going to grab you, put you on the floor because obviously you're resisting arrest. No, he's not resisting arrest, man.
No.
Of course he isn't. Like, what? Why is it that people, like black people in America, are treated so differently? It doesn't compute with me at all. Like, how can you base anything on race? It's stupid. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I hate that it's like, I just fucking hate it all. I hate it so much.
So do I.
And John Boyega, you lad,
he's
mate.
Absolutely gone off.
He went crazy.
He I think rightfully so. I think everyone has the right to be angry about this, especially black people have more than enough right to be angry about this.
Absolutely.
Because it keeps happening.
Yeah.
And it's like it keeps happening again and again, and there is no justification for any of it. So fury. I mean, you can see why the protests turned into riots off the back of this, because there's a lot of anger all around, but especially in those communities, because of why the fuck does it keep happening? There's no rhyme or reason to any of that.
And obviously, to do our due diligence, the riots and stuff started before any arrests were made. I think the I don't know what they call them in the US, the district attorney, he gave a press conference saying, "Oh, there might not be enough evidence to charge this guy," and it was like, "What?" There was all the evidence in the world, and then last night, so Friday night, it was Friday night for us, obviously. It was reported that the officer has been charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter.
Yeah, third degree, which is, I'm looking at the definition of that at the moment, because like first degree is killing someone with some sort of premeditation.
Yeah.
Second degree is killing someone with no amount of premeditation.
Yeah.
And third degree, looking at Wikipedia, so it's Wikipedia, but the unlawful killing of a human being when perpetrated without any design to effect death by a person engaged in the preparation of or in the attempt to perpetrate any felony other than.
But
which essentially means that you killed someone while trying. Accident while perpetrate. It's a very weird.
Essentially, they charge him with manslaughter.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
I don't know if it's manslaughter if you put your knee on someone's. Putting your knee on someone's neck for 9 minutes isn't manslaughter. It's straight up murder. Maybe not first degree. I don't know. Obviously, there are reports coming out about this officer's history and stuff.
Yeah,
which is another kind of mad like story. It's because he has a history of somewhat violence, and I think one of the biggest arguments I've kind of seen going around is like, how the hell is this guy was this guy still a police officer at this point with his history, and why was he allowed to kind of be put in a position of power that allowed him to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very wrong.
And something else that came out from the whole catalyst of George Floyd is, I don't know if you guys saw, but is his name Omar Jimenez or something?
Yes, Omar Jimenez or Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez. He CNN reporter reporting on what was going on next to the the police presence, the uniform presence that was there.
Yeah,
complying, saying, you just let us know where you want us to stand, and we'll do that. We don't want to, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't want to step on any toes. We just want to report what's going on. And then just gets arrested. And you're like,
and wasn't it he got arrested while on air reporting?
Yes.
While on air.
Yeah.
While on air.
With proof of him being a CNN reporter, there were people with him wearing CNN badges. He wasn't.
So like I've literally I'm like clicking through the video at the moment, and you can like literally see his tag on his.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's like I don't want to bag on America too much, but America is the land of the free. Well, freedom of press is I think it's a basic human right according to the UN, and like you're arresting a journalist. You have journalists in war-torn countries like Libya and Syria and Iraq, where journalists are able to go and interview like terrorists. They
don't do this really.
I mean, I'm not justifying any actions of terrorists.
No,
it was just me making a passionate point.
Yeah, no, I get you. But this is insane because he's doing his job. He's reporting, and in America, which is and this sounds like we're really harking on like old school America, but they love talking about their constitutional rights and shit. Yeah. Like every time you watch an American program, it's Constitution lets me do this and that. It's like, all right. That's sort of those human rights and the Constitution stuff allows for stuff like freedom of press, which is a worldwide thing. Why the hell are you arresting him? And I can't imagine he was the only reporter there.
No, he wasn't.
CNN themselves said we had a white reporter there as well. To preface, Omar Jimenez is a black man. Mm-hmm. The white reporter was not arrested.
Yeah, I mean, it's those sort of things that like. You always want to see it from both sides, but it's very hard to see it from the police officer's side when you're just kind of arresting one and not the other. If they arrested all of them, then it's kind of like still fucking weird, but right. But why specifically him? Why? That's not okay in the slightest.
Do you want to know why, Luca?
Sure.
Because Omar Jimenez is a black guy.
Oh yeah.
Fuck
That's why.
Yeah. That'd be why. Yeah.
Yeah. And as I said before, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I hate it so much.
It's abhorrent. Like, it doesn't make sense. At no point does it make sense. I watched because I've been like on Twitter for the past couple of days, just scrolling through and just seeing, like, my feed is just drenched in like social politics, all this issue, all these race issues.
Yeah,
it's drenched in the blood of George Floyd, essentially. It's horrible. And it just makes me so sad and angry that, like, I see people saying, like, not to, like, rag on things. I don't want to be the person that rags on, like, certain movements?
I'll do it.
Okay, go for it.
I think what you're alluding to is like stuff like all lives matter.
Yeah,
etc.
that's what I was alluding to. Sorry.
It's I'll just give the very simple explanation that all lives matter doesn't work until Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
It's like you and like all the like also me, I've been using hashtag ACAB, which means all cops are bastards.
Okay.
I am in the, like I know not all police officers are bad. There was a video of the chief of the Atlanta Police Department.
Yes.
She was being extremely good with the protests in Atlanta. She was talking to them,
listening,
letting them air their frustrations. She sent away an officer who was being problematic. If every single police officer in the world was like that woman, the world would be an amazing place. And it's just, yeah.
Well, that's the sort of thing. It's like you'd hope that the majority of police officers out there are like her, but there is enough bad ones that are doing enough bad things that's causing these sort of issues. And it's the same in kind of, I guess, in any aspect of anything, there's always going to be those bad eggs. But when you have somewhere where you have so much power, those bad eggs can do some real fucking damage, and it can lead to stuff like this. And they're killing people, which...
No. 100%. This isn't just a whole episode of us being like, this is why America sucks. This stuff is unfortunately happening everywhere. It happens in America. It happens in India. It happens here in the UK.
Yeah.
There are countless cases of basically the exact same situation happening. And it's just
wrong, fundamentally wrong.
Yeah, and just obviously, sorry, I digress from the All Lives Matter point. It's like, some All Lives Matter people, I'm sure what they're saying is, why can't we all just be equals? And I'm sure what they mean is something good, but and people who say I don't see race, that's a completely different thing. And I don't speak for all of us here, obviously. My personal opinion is you have to see race. In society, there are racial differences between us. We're treated differently, and it's better to say, I recognize that you're treated differently to me and I want to do something about that, than say, now we're all the same. I know in a perfect world that's what we want. It's what people like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X fought for. But it's just, yeah.
So off the back of a lot of this, of course, Trump decides to do some tweeting.
Oh, mate.
Because he can't fucking stop tweeting.
I can't, man. I can't deal with that.
Okay, so there's a few things to touch on from old Trump's Twitter nonsense. So I guess the first thing is like the tweet that he put out, which Twitter themselves kind of flagged for violating their terms of service, which was a very interesting
Jack
thing
Dorsey's been coming for him recently.
Yeah, so this was like, I mean, I've read so much over the past like few, I guess, day about a lot of this kind of stuff that's all blending into one. But okay, so the one of the quotes that Trump uses was when the looting starts, the shooting starts, which was a quote that originated back in 1967 by a racist white Miami police chief named Walter Headley. Really, Trump?
Now, what does that say? What does that say about their leadership at the moment?
All he's doing is protecting his country, guys.
Oh, fucking
Joe. Oh, that's what he's doing.
He's making sure the Second Amendment people know it's a well-trained and equipped militia.
Oh, well, that's all right then, isn't it? That's fine.
Fucking America.
I know. It's like, it's not even like fucking America. It's like, It's all of
yeah.
this shit. It's like
Yeah.
you got Donald Trump, who is the president of the United States of America, and this is the kind of shit he's putting out. And he's publicly saying, it's like, this shouldn't, a leader of a country shouldn't be saying this, especially a leader of a country with the history of something like America and their mad amount of issues. And like, I mean, shit, people have gone over and over the fact that this man got elected, which is mental. And I really bloody hope he doesn't get re-elected, because Jesus fucking Christ.
He'll win.
I really hope he doesn't.
You know what makes me upset? I mean, a lot of shit makes me upset, especially this whole racist behavior in America. Well, racism in general just fucks me off. But it was specifically Trump's tweets where he referred to, like, I think it was last month, there was like a protest in an old, I can't remember what it was, like it was a state building. And you had like white guys with AR-15 weapons and stuff, armed to the teeth,
literally ready if anything happened there. To fucking
God, so I don't
light them up. Like they were they were that armed, and the police there were like, weren't they? I saw a picture of somebody like shouting at a police officer. They looked like an interrogation.
The police were literally stood like in front of the building, obviously, because you don't want guys with guns going into this government building.
Yeah.
And they were in their faces screaming. And this was like at the height of the coronavirus. I mean, the US is still in the middle of their peak.
Yeah.
But
so there was that. And Trump referred to them as, these very good people.
Very good Americans.
Very good American people showing, protesting and all this sort of stuff. As soon as it's black people, it's these
he calls them
bro.
thugs. Yeah. So I've got the tweet here, and I've had to like click the thing to actually view it, because it's still this. So Twitter's thing pops up. This tweet has violated Twitter rules about glorifying violence, which he definitely fucking does.
Yeah,
and it's absolutely. Like, these thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let it happen. Just spoke to the governor, Tim Walz, and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you. What? Jesus Christ.
What I saw.
Yeah, well, that was the big one that flagged, which...
Oh, yeah.
Off the back of this tweet and Twitter kind of doing this, Trump very rapidly writes in this new bit of legislation that allows some form of censorship over social media.
He wrote that before because he was upset that Twitter called him out for spreading fake news.
Yeah.
So
my God.
That was already in the works, and he passed an executive order, which I studied US politics. I think executive orders go straight into being signed, but very easily Congress and the Senate can... well, Congress is both, isn't it? I don't know. The Senate and the House of Representatives can very easily be like, yeah, we're not ratifying this.
Yeah.
I bloody hope they should.
And oh my God. The thing, I watched something this morning when I was in bed, and it was Don Lemon. You know Don Lemon? I think he's a CNN anchor.
Yes, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Don Lemon, he was talking about how America right now, this was before everything sort of kicked off how it did.
Yeah.
He was saying, America is under the threat of two viruses. One of them's COVID-19 and the other one's racism 20. I was like, that was pretty powerful. Racism 20.
And I mean,
he was talking.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You go.
He was talking. I can't remember the name of his because there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he was a white guy on CNN, and him and Don seemingly look like friends. They're like friends, like co-anchors and stuff.
Yeah.
And the white guy brought up the fact that if, like, with that protest that the white guys did with all those guns and stuff, if black people did that, gun laws would be different. Gun laws would change.
Yeah. Jesus, yeah.
You would need all the steps.
That is the saddest thing, is like, there is no freedom in America if that's the case.
Yeah.
No.
Like, what the hell is that? I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it.
And I mean,
I fucking hate it.
I'm going to backtrack very slightly. Sorry. and
No, go for it.
then I'll bring back to this. Like, even with Trump tweeting out that tweet, are there not checks and balances on the most powerful man in the world's social media? Like, shouldn't every tweet he sent have like a special thing where it goes through like 3 people who are checking this is fine?
Yeah, like his PR team or something should be checking every goddamn word that goes out to make sure he's not inciting anything. Because what the hell, man?
By far, Barack Obama was not a perfect man. He was not a perfect president. It's as if it's worse than Barack Obama tweeting out, "Yo, guys, just drone striked a village in Afghanistan, LOL."
All right.
But it's worse because he's saying, "I'm going to kill my own people."
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like,
honestly,
I'm just,
I'm so tired of it, man.
Yeah, there's lots of frustration around all this, and I think the biggest worry is this will all happen, and shit goes back to normal, which is the exact same as what's been going on, and it never changes. Especially with someone like Trump in office, it's kind of like there's your protection for anyone that feels that way about the way that the world is, because you have someone in power, and like full total power, like basically one under dictatorship, because it's fucking America and president's president, who believes the exact same thing, or at least seemingly believes the exact same thing. Like, that's fucked up.
It's gross. How many wake-up calls does America need for so many things? For race things, for, again, this is going to make people upset, for school shootings, for everything. How many wake-up calls does a nation need before they're like, you know what, something has to change?
Yeah.
And it's...
I think that the mad part is, if you look at other world leaders, when let's say like a mass shooting happens, they don't turn around to it and be like, oh, you know what would have been better is if more guns, then like more people could have saved them. Like, no, like, it happened in, all right, digressing, very small tangent. A few weeks back, I did a quiz. Me and some friends, we got like a weekly quiz thing that we each take turns doing it. So for my one of the current events of that week was the Canadian kind of mass shooting that happened.
Yeah.
And that Justin Trudeau's response to that was his plan to introduce new laws that would make it illegal to sell, transport, import, or use 1,500 varieties of assault weapons. So there was a mass shooting, and he goes, all right, let's fucking crack down on the guns, because if this kind of stuff happens, let's find a way to either stop it or very rapidly reduce people's access to these kind of firearms. That makes sense to me as a response. It doesn't make sense what America's been doing all this time.
And I mean, it
happened in this country as well, I think.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it after the shooting in Scotland?
I think so. As soon as that happened, it was like, no.
Yeah.
Not having that again.
Same thing in Australia as well, wasn't there? Was like a mass shooting. They was like, we're taking away your guns. And they went, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Again, like 2 years ago.
It's like, how can everyone around the world kind of, at least, not everyone around the world, because there's probably some countries that would like get as up in arms about Americans, about losing their guns as Americans do. But in general, kind of see this mass shooting and go, yeah, I mean, we agree, let's get rid of the guns or kind of reduce. I mean, it just makes sense. Why are there's that much difference? They talk about like their amendments and stuff like that. It's like, and we've seen many comedians say this, but it's an amendment, amend it. Oh my God, how is like this not being done yet? Fucking hell.
And even this situation, there wasn't even a gun involved. It was a police officer. And I mean, look, comparatively, a gun law is, we're going to sign something, it'll go into effect. This is systematic and institutionalized racism within a country. And it's been going, it was James Baldwin, I think, the activist. And this is a very old video. And he said something along the lines of, how long does it, is people are saying to me, this isn't quote for quote, it's like, people are saying progress takes a long time, but my great-grandfather's generation were told that, my grandfather's generation were told that, my father was told that, I was told that, my children are being told that. It's been 400 years. How long do you need for progress?
Yeah.
And it's like,
there is so much progress that's happened in the world. Why not in this one area?
and by all means, the UK is not perfect. I mean, there are statistics saying it might even be worse statistically per capita per person. But it's just, and this is just part of the thing we were going to discuss today. I think like there's even the issue of the riots and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah. Go. Let's transition over to that if you want. Go for it.
I mean, I don't know if we're all in agreement, but what are your guys' thoughts and feelings on? Because yesterday I had very like firm opinions. This morning I saw something and I'm like, okay, I don't know how I'm feeling now.
I always have mixed emotions when protest turns into riots, no matter what it's about.
Yeah.
Just because I always find that once a protest turns into a riot, the whole message gets overshadowed by whatever violence has occurred, especially from a media's point of view. They start reporting on the violence and they start to lose or stop reporting on the actual message behind why the protest was there in the first place. And that's kind of something that I've seen for most of the protests that has ever turned into riots, no matter what they've been about. And that is something I hate seeing that, because 9 times out of 10, when you're protesting, it's for a really good reason. It's for something that needs to be protested and made awareness for.
Yeah.
And there's always a small subsect that go out and see it as an opportunity to kind of raise hell for a bit, and then kind of everything kind of escalates from there.
Yeah.
That's kind of my view on a lot of that.
The rapper, I think his name's Killer Mike.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. Killer Mike, he basically said, if I remember correctly, I watched it this morning. It was like, essentially saying riots were bad. Don't burn down your own homes.
Yeah.
You need to prepare. I can't remember he said like 6 words that were like perfect.
It was
strategize, plot your ideas, organize and mobilize kind of thing. And I think that's probably how I feel. It's like I can completely understand why the riots kicked off.
Yeah.
Because passion is high, right?
Yeah.
Like completely understandably as well.
Massively.
But don't burn down your own home and build, you need your house to bring people in to make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. And I think I agree with that. I think you need to, not to take away from rioting, because rioting essentially put it on the map more.
Yeah.
Like in this country, like in the UK, on BBC News, they were saying, riots have kicked off because of George Floyd's death.
Yeah.
And this, and Trump inflamed that as well by saying that he was going to start shooting his own people like a dumbass.
Yeah. See, that those are lots of like things that, and that is kind of the weird double-edged sword. Is a lot of other countries, especially when like a protest isn't happening in your country, they don't tend to report on it, or if they do report on it, it's done very quickly. And the moment it turns into a riot, everyone goes, "Oh, look, rioting," and it shouldn't be this. And it's like it's the sort of thing that brings attention, but they reported on like why the riots were happening, but then it does get overshadowed with this kind of violence, especially from like a media standpoint, because you see it in kind of all aspects of any sort of media, not just kind of news reporting, that like the more extreme something is, the more people kind of look for it. They like to see car crashes and train crashes and stuff. So when something like that happens, the media will kind of double down on that aspect of things and kind of leave all the kind of surrounding bits to the wayside. And that's kind of right. Like the message should be put out there, and thankfully in the world of social media, that message can still be carried out there, passed from like just normal broadcast media to such a wide audience, which is helpful.
I'm so conflicted. I'm on the one hand, I was like, and I was even seeing people coming out, Martin Luther King III, and I feel terrible forgetting her name. I think it was Beatrice A. King, Martin Luther King's children, and they were so poignantly saying people. The thing that pissed me off the most was people were coming out and saying Martin Luther King wouldn't want this. Martin Luther King wouldn't want this, and these people I don't know how to describe them other than, white. But not saying white people can't have an opinion, but these were like, I love me America.
Yeah.
White.
Yeah.
They were saying, Martin Luther King would be so disappointed in you guys.
That's fucking hell.
And Martin Luther King's children came out and were like, you know what, our father probably wouldn't want people to riot. He wouldn't want people to get hurt and to get killed. But he said something so poignant, which was, riots are the language of the unheard.
Yeah,
and
massively.
And, I mean, that's such a strong thing because it's like, for so long, Black Lives Matter has been a thing for so long. I feel like the organization formed during our lives, but Black Lives Matter in itself, it's been other things before.
Yeah.
But it's like it shouldn't be a thing that exists because there shouldn't be a need for it.
Yeah. And it's like they're spot on. It's kind of like the moment there is violence, the moment there is riots, it brings attention to something that didn't have attention to start with. And that's a problem with the way that things are reported on in general, where you shouldn't need to go to those degrees to get attention for something so important. That fundamentally needs to change.
And when you've been oppressed for generations and generations and generations, completely understandably, there is a breaking point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is the breaking point. It feels like it is, but who's to say that in 2 weeks' time things are forgotten again?
Yeah,
that's the worry.
It feels like it's the breaking point.
Exactly. That's what
even the London riots, I don't know when that was, 2011? It was either 2009 or 2011.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that was a while back.
The riots were after a black boy, I think, was killed by the police in London. And, like, I mean, for us, I think that might have been the last big time something like this erupted for us.
Yeah, that was one where like whole buildings got gone set on fire.
Yeah.
That was
like Tottenham was like destroyed.
Yeah. That was 2011. That was what it went on for 4 days apparently.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, that feels like it was the breaking point. But still, these things are happening. In the UK, let alone the US, and it's like it feels like in the 60s it was a thing because you had people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Again, both men with very different approaches to it. Malcolm X said something along the lines of, the only language people will understand is to speak to them in their own language. And he was talking about violence. And I respect both men greatly. They did have very different ways of going about it. And it's up to you as to what you sort of side with. And it's like, it's like, it's not something our generation should be like seeing and putting up with. It's like, it's something we should only be reading in history books. It shouldn't be something we're reading in newspapers.
Yeah, I one of the things that I saw is like someone talking about like the future generations that are studying this period in history. This is going to be a very dense bit of history. Because like when we look into history stuff, we look at like the World War, and then we look at the Cold War, and there's the kind of not a lot. Like you're not going to be looking at wars; you're going to be looking at actual like civil side of things here, and there's so many layers to lots of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for people being taught things in the future, this is probably really off topic. I think every school system needs to teach the failings of their own country.
Oh, 100%.
Massively, yeah.
Because what the hell, man? I didn't know so much about the UK until after school.
Yeah.
Like guys, the shit. Do you know the shit we've done? Like,
we've done lots of shit. Yeah, we had a lot of countries we did a lot of stuff to.
I've had so many fights with people over this. Obviously, the internet. Obviously, mostly on TikTok. On TikTok, so
that's such a weird place to do it on TikTok.
No, because TikTok is like the entire world like the entire internet, because it's where the worst of the worst people are able to be anonymous and say the worst shit.
Yeah.
Again, sorry, it is off topic, but
No.
like stuff like the British Empire creating concentration camps.
Yeah.
It was Lord Kitchener's idea. The Amritsar massacre, the slave trade was started by the British, and fair dues, they abolished it well before the US across the entire empire. I mean, kind of fair dues to them for that.
Progressive.
Stole $45 trillion from the Indian subcontinent.
That's why we're not in debt, right? Because we have all that money.
Nah, man,
right?
It's fine. We have to pay for those 2 nukes that we can't use.
Oh, see, this is actually something I've been speaking to my dad about, and it is off topic because it's about like the more current events thing. Because like we see so many aspects of everything at the moment where you're looking to support the current industry going through like the COVID side of things, and it's like, oh, we're like cutting budget here and cutting budgets there, and just like stop making fucking nukes for like the next year, and there you go, you have enough money to support everything going on. Oh my god!
In the middle of a project to do our nukes. I'm like, why?
Why?
It's
So the half-life on a nuke is pretty fucking long. You don't need to touch those for a long time.
And this might be completely wrong. I don't think we have our launch codes. America might have them.
Fuck me.
Again, that is 100%. I've read it somewhere. I don't know if that's factual.
That is super worrying because Mr. Orange Man in office has our launch codes.
But he can't launch them. It's just we need his approval.
Again,
what?
Maybe.
Anyway,
I really hope he needs someone else's approval from another country. Otherwise, that's kind of fucked.
No. Oh no, the US. It's him. Someone has the thing. They give it to him. They generate the code. They tell him, Mr. President, are you going to launch these nukes?
Oh, yeah, they call it the football, don't they?
Times.
Like the nuclear football.
Yes.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's with him at all times.
I wish that this world was a lot different.
Every day.
There are so many aspects of this world I love, but then there are these other aspects of the world that are the fucking worst. And
but I also feel, I mean, look, I think we're getting ourselves and everyone down with this, and rightfully so.
Yeah, this is not an uplifting episode of the SlapDuck podcast. Sorry, guys.
But I think even through all these, it's something I've been telling myself that I don't lose my nut over all of this. It's like the world is in part a horrible place, and all this stuff is horrible, but we can't, as a generation, just accept it. I think it's, and it shouldn't be so, but it's our generation's turn and time to change it. Hopefully to completely change it, make as much progress as we can. And so future, like, I don't want my kids to walk around and feel like scared of the police. Like, and again, I have privilege as a quote unquote model minority, and I'm sure South Asian people think we're oppressed. We are, but not as bad as Black people, and it's a harsh reality, but it's true. And I don't want my kids to feel scared. I don't want George's kids to be scared. I don't want Luca's kids to potentially be scared. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the sort of thing that you can never stop wanting for a better world. Like the moment you stop wanting, that's the moment that everyone kind of gives up.
Just as a quick side note,
sure.
Do you think that that Luca's kids are going to have the same amount of facial hair that he's got?
Yeah,
I hope.
Do you think Luca's daughter is going to have the same amount of facial hair?
No, she might have the leg hair though. Yeah, for me, it's kind of like a lot of it is either the face or my legs, and there's not a lot in between for the most part. So like,
steady on, mate.
I know, right?
Let's go.
So it's like that's why I mean in the winter, like everyone's like, oh, it's really cold. I'm like, I mean, I'm just wearing my jeans like normal because I have natural tights underneath them. It's all good. My leg hair's all cool.
That might be the grossest thing I've ever
You got
heard in my
long
life.
johns on 24/7.
Yeah, I never had to wear long johns.
Wow.
Yeah, even in shorts, my legs are warm.
Are you wearing shorts right now?
No, I'm wearing sweatpants at the moment.
Okay, fair.
Same.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if you could get your leg up so I could see the wolf gene in you.
Okay, one sec. Fuck it.
Oh.
Bam.
He's actually
Oh, no.
doing it.
He's standing up.
Oh my lord!
Honestly, I thought I was bad.
What?
Can I get closer? Oh, I can't get closer.
That's
This
too
is-
much hair, bro.
I
This is
know.
amazing.
You
for
can you can
audio-only
grab it by
podcast.
the fistful, which is.
That's
I mean, maybe the fistful is a bit of overkill, but you can kind of like you can run it through your fingers. It's pretty long. I remember in high school, I used to poke through my school trousers because they were like these really shitty nylon thin things.
Oh god. mate.
Yeah, it was worrying.
Damn.
This-
Don't get me started about puberty, mate. Woo!
okay.
Hair grew from
Right.
everywhere. So
That's for another episode.
that is for
Yeah.
another episode.
Puberty stories.
I'm more light-hearted. Maybe our next episode should be puberty stories just to make it a bit lighter.
Yeah.
Unless more stuff comes out that
Oh.
we have to touch on.
Yeah.
Jesus, I hope not.
Hope.
I fucking
hopefully
hope
not. a
not.
lot
I
more
hope it's
happens.
all good news that comes from now on, but that's the stupid optimistic side of me. The pessimistic
Yeah.
side of me thinks it's sadly just going to go back to the way it was and nothing's going to happen, which
Yeah.
fucking fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I don't know. Is this a good place to?
yeah, unless there's any kind of like other points we want to touch on before we kind of head, this might be a good place to
Maybe like
wrap
just
up.
final statements.
Final statements. The world sucks. This sucks. Stop being shitty racists, America.
That is words to live by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
But you don't have to just say America at the end.
No.
Just stop
I
being
world.
think
shit.
the best words to live by are like, it's a right to be an asshole, but don't be a cunt. Like you can say some rude shit, but don't be a cunt.
Okay, my closing statement is going to be from song lyrics from a man named James Taylor from his song called "Shower the People." Shower the people with love. That's all you need.
I feel like we took
Shower
two
the people
sides
you
of that
love with
coin.
love. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel.
Oh.
That's all it needs.
Mine seems a
And I
bit.
try to do that.
I feel a bit crass now.
True.
Yeah,
You are. You
Yeah.
are crass though. I mean,
Sully?
just please stay informed. Do everything you can
Yeah.
to be a positive light in this world. Just be better. Just everyone.
GG.
Just be
just be
better
better.
and
Try and make someone else happy.
make
And-
someone else happy.
Yeah. Listen
Call
as
out
well.
someone being an asshole.
Yeah. Just listen.
If they're being a cunt,
Yeah.
say they're a cunt. Don't say, oh, it's just Timmy. He's always like that. No, call
Yeah.
him a cunt and make him stop being one.
Yeah.
Fucking Timmy.
Or age-old adage: be the change you wish to see in the world.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Big fan of that one.
All right then.
Fuck Trump,
Fuck.
twat.
And on that note, we've been the
Sorry about the heavy episode.
It's
Like,
good.
Yeah,
I
it's
think-
fine. Yeah,
yeah.
you got now a few more months of us just being fun before another heavy episode.
Yeah.
God, and I hope it's nothing to do with this.
So do I.
Yeah.
I hope it's to do with like,
The next
Too much
article
hair.
I see, the next article I want to see from America
Mhm.
has to be something super positive, because for the past couple years, I swear it's just been constant like, this black person's died for no reason.
yeah,
Mm.
This
Jesus.
black person's died for no reason.
big time.
This law has been passed to make something more difficult for someone else.
Yep.
This thing's happening, which makes shit hard for everyone. It's just like, come on, bro. Let's just be cool. Let's just be fucking chill. Let's just listen to the SlapDuck podcast and just chill the fuck out, right?
I feel like if everyone was saying that, we'd have more listeners. That'd be great.
We'd have
way more listeners.
Way more.
Okay, where can they find us, guys?
Well, they can
Come on,
find
Sonny,
us-
you
they can-
post it
they-
to these places.
No, they can find out. No, I was, I was making a thing. They can find us on Apple Podcasts. They can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Radiohaver.com at 6 p.m. GMT every BST. I don't know, every Tuesday. SlapDuck.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Pretty sure we have the Facebook page.
Do we?
I think you have to when you're making Instagram.
Oh.
like a business one.
Oh,
'Cause I
right.
have an ad sometimes. And
Feel free to email us as well.
yeah, email us at slapduckpodcast@gmail.com, or on the website, go to our communications box, contact us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way you can become anonymous or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Say hi. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, everyone. Next week we'll talk about puberty.
You know what's been like, but you know what's kind of been a weird. You guys haven't mentioned Rain of Fire once this episode.
I don't think it's.
I don't think it doesn't fit, does it?
It's a buy. It doesn't count.
Nah.
Like,
But Luca, thank you for at least mentioning the word Rain of Fire.
Yeah,
mentioned
I
it,
felt like I
therefore
had
the
to. I had to
streak
be the one to
lives.
just like mix it in, just to let people know that apparently that was set in the year 2020, and these two you still haven't seen the goddamn movie that they're talking about. And at some point,
interestingly enough, this year has been a rain of fire.
I know, right?
Nothing.
It
It,
really
hasn't
is.
stopped this year.
it's prophetic.
Yeah. So the prophecy was correct,
where are the dragons then? Come on.
and that's the end.
Oh,
that's the end of the
shit.
episode.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we get to like August, September, November, dragons.
Yes.
Well,
I can see that.
well, guys,
think dragon.
prepare yourself for the dragons. Get a shield. Get some wood to close your doors.
Wood to close your doors.
Wood to close your doors, like a door
bit of
stop.
wood
Yeah,
like a bit of wood to
a
close
bit
your
of
door.
wood to close your door.
Against
Yeah.
the dragon.
Yeah, against
You know what
dragon.
you could have said, which would be a lot cooler?
What?
Like sacrifice a lamb and put the blood of the lamb on your door, so the ghost of
No,
death
look,
doesn't
this
come to
ain't-
your
Isn't
door.
that what they do for Passover?
Yeah, this isn't
Yeah.
like the Moses story. It's not locusts. It's dragons, man.
Like I know that that's like super religious and it's very sacred, but that is so metal as well.
I know.
That's
Smear blood on your door. Fuck. All right.
so death knows not to come in.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, that writes itself. Sorry, I don't know if that's disrespectful.
No,
I
it's
think
fine,
that's
George. You
hilarious.
go away. You write your death metal opus, and then you can sing it next week for us. It can be our opening.
Yeah, along with the puberty stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Something to look forward to, guys. Death metal and puberty stories.
Oh my
Uh,
lord.
well.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Honestly, who thought that was a good idea? I got into my car to test my eyesight and did a 30-minute drive. Are you for
No, 'cause-
real, man?
I know. 'cause
What
that's
are
how
you
you
on
test
about?
your eyesight. Not let's see if I
Yeah.
can read something from afar. Let's see if I can drive and don't kill anyone.
Yeah, let's drive to Barnard Castle. Fuck it.
Let me
Let's go
put
for it.
myself and others at risk because my eyes.